local authorities at their best are really good at bringing people together and getting the right solutions into these problems. And when you're doing something like developing a large number of properties, you can't, the developer can't think of everything all at once. But if a local authority comes along and says, well, have you thought about this? We've got an answer for you here. That's really helpful, and that really helps the process and really enables more homes to stay in occupation.
Well, in Leeds there is an issue, or has been an issue in certain areas where low demand has created large numbers of empty properties, and we have, as part of our strategy, targeted these areas with both human resource and monetary resource to turn around the situation. In fact, the Leeds Empty Homes strategy was piloted in Beeston and Holbeck, which had a 15% void rate when we first started due to low demand, and quite frankly it's now less than 2%, so we believe that what we're doing is at least mitigating the situation.
Most empty properties do have a potential use if they can be made safe. Some buildings are just unsafe and are going to have to come down or not get used. I think whether someone likes a particular area or not is very subjective. Our view is that communities can be regenerated as well as empty homes being brought back into use. Our model involves the local community and local volunteers coming together to work together on a property, and that improves community cohesion as well as actually doing up an empty house.
But a lot of the work in terms of empty properties is working with landlords to get to grips with the issues they have and putting pressure on them in the right way to take action when often they're not inclined to do so.
Well, one example from the United States is a great homesteading model which is working in New York at the moment. There was a whole load of property there which had been empty for years, uneconomic to do anything about. But by transferring the ownership to a local community who weren't trying to make a profit out of it, were just simply trying to make a home, their sweat equity made it worthwhile, made it economic. And now there's a whole load of homes there for people which wouldn't have been there otherwise.
What I did like recently when I was in Liverpool is that I drove down Edge Lane, which is one of the main gateways into the city, where the City Council have acquired terraces and terraces of property. Of course they're boarded up, but the City Council spent some time and money painting the boardings to look bright and interesting, and that had the effect, I think, of almost like a sort of art installation, making it look interesting and vibrant.
There are other ways that empty properties can be used rather than just being vacant or boarded up or derelict. For example, live-in guardians is one solution where affordable accommodation is given to people to secure the property, maintain the property by occupying the property rather than 24-hour security.
Squatting is not the best way of dealing with empty homes because all of those properties belong to somebody, and making use of somebody's property without their permission isn't the right way to run a society.
If you own an empty home and you think to yourself, how can I get this back into use? Who is going to want to live in it? If you thought about how you could bring it back into use, you'd definitely find a use because so many people struggle to pay the rent.
To be effective in tackling empty homes, you need to have sustained action, particularly working with the private rented sector. It's a complex area and an area that needs a lot of expertise to be really, really successful in it. We know that in some parts of the country there's a high level of success, and we've got to learn from that best practice, bring it across to others. And what I think the Homes and Communities Agency is about is helping share that best practice and bringing its investment resources in line with local priorities.